Today, we're talking about something that every single creative struggles with, and that is selling. Or in this case, not selling, but still getting the client. I want to walk through the framework that has helped me land hotel contracts without cold calls. So, if the word pitching makes you cringe, then good news. Because landing hotel clients does not require cold calls or pushy sales tactics. And I want to show you how to book your first hotel without ever feeling salesy. So, first of all, let's tackle the fact of why sales feels gross for florists. First of all, you probably think of yourself as a creative and not a salesperson. And for me, I actually had imposter syndrome the other way around. When I came into this industry, I thought, I'm not creative enough. Nobody takes me seriously. I'm not actually a florist. I'm just a business person. I just know how to make money. I just know how to sell. And looking back, even back into, pre-floral and pre-hospitality, let's go back to summer of 2010 when I was between high school and college, and I was back home. And home was not a place that I felt good in. In fact, I had left home when I was 12 years old, and I was taken out of my home from Child Protective Services due to abuse and neglect. And I went and lived with two different types of strangers until I was 18. Now, when I was 18, I was waiting to go to college. I had gotten a full ride scholarship at the University of Houston, and I had paid for on to live on campus, but I couldn't move in until August, and it was May. So I didn't have a choice. I had to go back home. I didn't have any money to live on my own at that point. The jobs I had could barely get by, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So I went back home, and my mother really struggled with alcoholism and her own mental health issues, and it was just not a safe place to be. So the way I looked at the next few months of getting through that was to find as many jobs as possible. So I would never have to be at home, and I would make money, and I would see people, and I would learn a new skill while I was waiting to go to college. And those happen to be retail jobs for me. So Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie, you name it, I probably worked there. And what I really loved about these jobs, and I never considered it sales, was I had someone come in, have a problem, aka I'm looking for a bra. I'm looking for a new pair of jeans. I'm looking for a birthday gift. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to help you. I have an answer. Like, I know what you should buy. I just found this really cool cream. Let me put it on the back of your hand and show you how it like crackles and how apparently it helps your cellulite. I have no idea. I'm 18. I don't have cellulite, but this is how I was told it works. And this is amazing. And they go, oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, I want that. And before I knew it, I was like the top salesperson working these jobs. And I wasn't trying to make sales or get sales or sell people. I just genuinely wanted to help people. And I knew stuff that they didn't know because I worked for this company that told me stuff. And then I wanted to go and share that information. So I never really thought of myself as a creative. I always thought of myself as like a business person. But it wasn't until I actually realized I was making multiple six figures and I had to be somewhat creative in order to make those sales. Like I could be both. And I am both. And this is what I want to talk about today because I know sales can feel gross because we feel like we have to get people. And I know even me in the online space, I have struggled so many times because in the online space to make sales, you have to know your clients' like pain points and deep desires, and you have to be their bridge. And I'm like, I just want to tell people stuff I know. And if they feel like, oh, you know what? I like this girl and I want to go work with her. And I feel like if she could tell me this for free and it makes this much impact in my business, then I can only imagine what it will do for me when I pay her and I actually spend time with her. I mean, oh my God, I can't imagine the up level that I'm going to have. Like, I want to work with people like that, not like, hey, don't you know that you're struggling? I'll save you. Like that doesn't feel good to me. So It's our job to reframe our relationship with sales. And for me, sales has always come effortlessly when I'm excited about what I'm doing and when I really feel like I can make a difference, when I feel like I get to sell my way and it gets to be enough, and when I can be in service to somebody else and not just myself. Like for me, a sale has to feel like a win-win. It has to feel like something really good for me, like, oh my gosh, I did it. You know, I can live off of my skill set, my talents, my ability to help other people. And oh my gosh, will you just look at the results that this person is having in their business and how happy they are, how much more satisfied they are in their marriage. They're nicer to their husband, they have reoccurring revenue, they don't have to stress out anymore, like to the point I'm getting texts like, let me send you a plane ticket so I can fly you out and you can meet the staff that all have full-time jobs now because of the work we've done together. And it has to be a win for everybody, meaning there has to be that ripple effect where, the employees have full-time jobs and then they go home to their families and their family units are better because of it. So for me, when it comes to a sale, it has to be a for me, a for you, and for us. And one of my mentors always said that for me, for you, for us. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was a bit triggered. I was like, well, of course it's for you. Of course you're going to make money off of this. What about me? Like, you're not even going to care about me. But that is scarcity mentality. And I was like, well, if she's saying it's for her as much as it is for me, then actually it's more rewarding. It means that, when I exchange a dollar, that is my currency to make this investment in myself. She is exchanging in her time, which I can always make more dollars. She cannot make more time. And then all of a sudden we have this like mutual playing field. And the result of that and the impact of that is far greater than I could ever imagine, right? So we have to reframe sales and remember that sales are not bad. Being salesy is not bad. Having profit does not mean you're greedy. There's so much work to be done around this area, but you are a creative who is in service of his or her skill set. That's really how simple it gets to be. You're not selling flowers. You're literally creating transformation. You're providing a solution. And not only a solution where they go, a lobby looks kind of empty. You're not only transforming the lobby, you're actually bringing their whole brand to life. You're making it tangible for their clients. You're making this arrival experience for their guests so memorable that they come back again and again and again. You're part of customer loyalty. So just like I tell you, anytime you invest within the hotel florist, my goal is that you have a 10x return on that, given that you do the work. Like, it can't come through osmosis. You can't sit on the couch, eat bonbons, and be like, well, I signed up for the certification. I still don't have a $100,000 contract yet. It's like, well, have you done the work? Have you applied what you have learned? Because my goal is that you're going to 10x. Just like when you work with a hotel, that they're going to 10x their investment with you. So if they're getting repeat guests, if they're getting free exposure on social media, if they're getting positive reviews about the florals in their lobby, if they're able to charge top dollar for their ADR, and on top of that, keep all their rooms full occupancy percentage, then yeah, I would say that you are sharing your gift and your skill set in service. So you're creating a transformation, and sales only feel gross when it's misaligned or you feel completely disconnected from your purpose. Like, it has to be this way. I have to force this sell. If this doesn't happen, what else is going to happen for me? But I need this money. I'm so attached to this. It's remembering that you don't have to sell something. They need to buy it. They get to buy it. You don't have to sell, they get to buy. You don't have to sell, they get to buy. It's an opportunity. Do you think Apple was concerned when they put this phone out that they needed people to buy it? Do you feel like you needed to buy this phone? Or did you feel like that they needed the sale, or did you feel like you got to buy it? So did you feel like they needed you to make this sale, or did you feel like you got to buy it? And I bet you didn't buy it once. I bet you have probably the new version every single year because you get to buy it. This is how we need to think about sales. So I want to give you a mindset shift. When you think like a consultant, you no longer think like a vendor. So for me, when I think vendor, I think someone has a briefcase, they're coming in, they're ambushing someone. They're trying to make some sort of shady deal that takes a lot of pressure, puts a lot of pressure on the person who they need to make the sale with, not who gets to buy, but who they need to make the sale with. And if they don't, then they go back with their tail between their legs and they're that much closer to having to quit or go bankrupt or find a new profession. That's what I think about when I think vendor. Tell me in the comments or in the review if I'm wrong. When I think like a consultant, I think like a detective. There's a problem, I can solve it, and I know how much it costs. Now, I no longer need to sell this because it's not my problem. It's someone else's problem. I just have the solution, but someone gets to buy it. So, how did that look in my floral business? You're like, okay, this is making sense. I love this analogy, but give me some practical examples. When I started my business, my floral design business, and I knew I didn't want to do weddings, and I really wanted to niche down and I wanted to do luxury corporate, I thought of myself like a interior designer. So I would even go in and I would tell my clients in my quote unquote pitches, think of me like an interior designer. You don't show up to my warehouse and I show you every single couch that I have. I'd be like, do you like this couch? You want to sit on this couch? We would be there for years if I had all those couches in my warehouse for you to sit on. And you'd be super overwhelmed because over here we have an orange couch, then we have a blue couch, then we have a green couch, then we have a couch with brown stripes. Like it would make no sense. But if you told me what you were looking for and I was able to go back to my digital warehouse in my head and conceptualize how to solve your problem and show you here's the couch you need and here's how much it's going to cost and I can get it here in 5 days. Which one do you want more of? Well, I want the easy one. I want the very clear one. I want the one where I burn no brain calories. Exactly. Because you are solving the problem for them. Because you're the expert in that field. Now you might be like, well, Francesca, I've never done flowers before. How can I be an expert if I've never done this? But you have a floral business. And I guarantee you, you've done life, meaning you've gone to a hotel. And if you've never been to a hotel in your life, I guarantee you that you could get in some mode of transportation right now, whether it be a car, a bus, an airplane, your feet, and you could go to a hotel and you could sit there. And when they ask you, can I help you, ma'am? You can say, just waiting for a friend. All good, thank you. And you could sit there and you could go home and that would cost you $0 and you would have seen a hotel. So we have to start thinking and letting our common sense run the show here that we can solve problems. Why? Because we know flowers and we have a business and we know what things cost. And now we just have to sell a solution that people already have problems to. It's really not that hard. Because when we are solving a problem, so for example, the hotel florist, before it became the hotel florist that you know it today, in 2019, it offered turnkey floral solutions for luxury hotels. It didn't say, please book us for your lobby flowers. We're really good, we promise. Look at our Instagram. You're solving a problem. You're not begging for a booking. So when you can take the pressure off of sales, making it mean that I need to make this sale, otherwise I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm never going to be successful enough. And instead it's like they get to book this. They get to buy this. And my job is to tell you about it and how I can solve a problem for you. Now you're solving a problem. You're no longer begging for a booking. Completely different. And I know you can feel that in the energy already. So here is a 3-step soft pitch framework. So the first thing I always recommend is you're going to come up with a hit list. Now I go really in depth with how to do this inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, inside the starter kit, because it's all the phase 1, the pitch. but I've also broken it down inside the starter challenge. So if you're looking for something a little bit more bite-sized when it comes to commitment, when it comes to investment, starter challenge is a good place for that. I literally have screen recordings as I'm doing this, showing you exactly what I'm looking for, what's important to me, what you need to look out for. So that is available for you. I am going to leave a link down below in the comments, the show notes, wherever you find your information, it's down there, I promise. Okay. So you're going to go in person and you're going to go check out your hit list. This is a non-negotiable. It is very hard for you to pretend you're an expert at something when you don't even know what the space looks like or what they have going on. So, and if you can't do this, then you're probably not going to be able to work with hotels, not in a very quick capacity. So if you're hiding behind reels going viral or trying to figure out how to update your website for the 50th time, nobody cares. And I say that with all due respect because I care about your life and I care about how many years of your life you're wasting sitting around waiting versus actually putting yourself out there. So you go in person, okay? You need to see what's going on. You're going to speak to the general manager. Again, I go into like all the details inside that pitching challenge. Um, you're going to tell them, hey, here's something I noticed about your lobby today. I'm sure you can appreciate as a floral designer, as a floral owner, I noticed this. And then start giving them some ideas based on what they tell you. You need to let them talk. We always want to assume we know what's going on, that we somehow know all the information, but the reality is that we don't. We have to listen to them, but a lot of times you can come up with either some sort of trial or idea, but you want to walk away with a meeting on the books. You either want to hear a clear no. A clear no would look like we don't do flowers. We already have a florist. We're not ready to hire. Then you get their information. Amazing. I'm so happy we had this conversation. Do you mind if I go ahead and take your card? Just keep in touch. Maybe I'll touch base in the next 6 months, see if anything has changed since then. Inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, I give you exact strategies how to keep warm leads warm and hot so they're so easy to plug into. But the bottom line is you want to hear a no, get contact details, or hear a yes, I'm interested, and put a meeting on the calendar. There's none of this fluffy waiting around, having multiple phone calls, wait and see, send an email. No, get it on the calendar. You want to make the decision easy, small, like a very small ask, fast win. So they're like, oh, we never really thought about flowers before. We're actually in between a florist. It's like, great. I'm in the area again next Tuesday. Why don't I come by? 15 minutes, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m., which one works best for you? And we do a quick walkthrough. I'll tell you a little bit more in depth what I can do. And if you feel like that's the right fit for you, I'll put something together and I'll send it through with a contract and we can move on from there. Let's start there. How does that sound? They're going to love that. Where do I sign up? People love to have other people think for them. This is a superpower. Like for me, one of my favorite dining experiences is when I go to a restaurant and I'm not given a menu. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. It happened to me, I think a couple summers ago. I was in Mallorca, Spain. They're like, hey, it's like chef's table or chef's night or whatever. We don't have menus. I hope that's okay. I was like, oh, that's phenomenal. You mean I don't have to think about what I'm going to order? I don't have to sit there and be like, well, this is like $39.99 and this one's $42.99, but this is meat and this is fish. And oh, what am I in the mood for? No, I just want to be like, and here's starter one, here's starter two, here's main course, here's your dessert. I'm like, cool, now it's an experience. There's structure. I love that. I feel like someone's like holding my hand, taking me through the process. I don't have to think about anything. I love this. I don't even care what it costs. So when you make decisions easy, small ask, big win, it's huge. It will go a very long way. So inside the pitching challenge, I do have, like I said, I share all the behind the scenes, how to actually find these people, how to approach these people, how to make sure that you're pitching to them. So the goal of the pitching challenge is to make sure within the next week you have pitched to your first hotel. And that's probably a lot more than you've done up until this point. If you're like, no, I'm ready to go all in, I want to land my first hotel, then that's when the starter kit becomes really interesting because it'll step you through that pitching process, but then it will also give you like the next bits, like the contracts and the questions to ask and like, how to actually land that hotel client. And if you're like, no, Francesca, let's be real. I want to go all in with you. I want to get certified in this. I want to grow and scale and automate my business only with hotels. Like I want to be the freaking hotel florist, A to Z. Tell me everything you know. Then the hotel florist profit method is for you. And I'll drop that down below as well. So if you want to pitch and you want to land hotel clients, those are your three different ways to do it. Um, I would tell you that inside the starter kit and the hotel florist profit method, I have the exact pitch scripts that you can use. Literally just input your details here. I make it super easy for you. And it starts with you literally going after that three-step process that, hey, I've noticed something in your lobby, offering some sort of idea or paid trial and making that decision super easy for them. Okay. It really does get to be that easy. You don't have to overthink it. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Until then, keep blooming.